Hello there, dear friend. Just imagine it, the hush of early morning, your favorite chair waiting on the porch, and the soft scent of herbs in the breeze. The sun hasn't climbed high yet. The birds are already busy, and so are the tiny wings we wish would stay away, the mosquitoes. But today, you don't reach for a can of spray. You don't run back inside, because this time, your garden is your protection. You see, you don't need fancy gadgets or expensive repellents. Not when nature has already given us everything we need, in petals, in leaves, in the quiet strength of living things. There are plants that bloom with beauty and guard with scent. Plants that don't just sit pretty, they do something. And best of all, you can grow them in a chipped teacup, an old bread pan, or a second-hand bucket from the thrift store. You don't need money or youth, just a little soil, a little sun, and a heart that still believes in care. In today's visit, I want to share with you 20 humble, hard-working plants that gently keep mosquitoes at bay. Each one is a tiny sentinel, growing quietly beside your chair, beneath your kitchen window, or hanging from the porch rail, offering both beauty and peace. So bring your tea, and let's take a slow walk through the garden together. There's protection here, and joy too, all wrapped in the scent of summer. Remember those old wash tubs our mothers used to fill on summer days? The metal would warm in the sun, and little bare feet would splash around, or grown-ups hung linens on the line. That old tub might be rusted now, its days of washing long past, but it still has work to do. This time, it holds something even more useful. Real citronella, the tall, arching grass that gently keeps mosquitoes away. Unlike the artificial candles and sprays you see in stores. Real citronella is alive, fragrant, and quietly powerful. It doesn't need batteries or lighters, just a bit of sun and water. When you brush against its blades or gently crush a few leaves between your fingers, it releases a clean, lemony scent that mosquitoes simply can't stand. It grows best in full sun, tucked into well-drained soil, which makes that old metal wash tub the perfect home. If your tub has a few drainage holes at the bottom, even better, you can place it right by your porch steps, near your rocking chair, or beside a garden bench where you like to sit and read. And because it's in a container, there's no bending down or digging needed. If you live in a colder area, don't worry. Citronella doesn't like frost, but that tub can come inside for the winter and rest just like we do. Come spring, it returns again, tall, graceful, and ready to guard your peaceful space. And here's a little tip from a neighbor. Pair it with a thrifted garden stool or a wind chime nearby. The motion of the wind will stir the leaves now and then, sending the scent into the breeze, like a quiet shield around your home. It's amazing, isn't it? How something as simple as a plant in a rusty tub can offer both memory and protection. Still useful, just like us. Close your eyes and remember that old linen drawer, the one your mother lined with lace and tiny sachets of dried lavender. The scent would greet you like a soft whisper every time it opened. Calming, familiar, and warm. Lavender isn't just for memories. It's one of the most beautiful ways to gently keep mosquitoes at bay and to bring peace to your garden and your heart. You see, mosquitoes dislike the very smell we love. That sweet, herbal scent that makes us feel clean and calm is overwhelming to them. So by placing a few lavender plants around your sitting space, you're not just adding color, you're building a gentle barrier of aroma that tells those pesky bugs to move along. And what better place to grow it than in something equally full of story? An old enamel teapot, perhaps, the kind you used to bring out when company came by. You can often find them for just a few dollars at thrift stores or tucked away in your garage, waiting for a second life. Lavender loves full sun and soil that drains easily. It doesn't ask for much once it's settled. Just space to breathe and a kind hand now and then. Place it on a small side table beside your favorite rocking chair, or even hang it from a porch hook in a little hanging basket. Wherever the breeze moves, the scent will follow. And when summer's heat deepens and the evenings grow long, you can snip a few sprigs to dry, place them in a bowl by the bed, or tuck them into a pillowcase for peaceful sleep. It's as if the garden continues to care for you even after the day ends. So if you find yourself out there in the golden hour, rocking slowly with your tea and listening to the hush between birdsong, take a deep breath. The lavender's doing its quiet work, keeping the peace and holding space for beauty, because even now, there is comfort in old things, and lavender knows how to bloom softly, without asking much at all. Do you remember the scent of lemon cookies baking on a warm afternoon? That crisp, clean aroma that made everything feel fresh and light? That's what lemongrass brings to your garden, but with a hidden talent. It quietly tells mosquitoes to stay far, far away. Lemongrass is a cousin of citronella, and it carries that same bright citrus fragrance that bugs simply can't stand. But unlike citronella's broad blades, lemongrass grows in tall, elegant clumps, soft and swaying like ribbons in the wind. It's beautiful, functional, and comforting, and when grown in a repurposed clay chimney pot, it becomes a sculptural piece of art for your patio or porch. You might have seen one of these tall clay forms at a thrift store or hidden behind the shed. They're hollow, rustic, and perfect for holding deep soil and tall grasses like lemongrass. This plant loves the sun. The more the better, and it thrives in soil that drains well. Just fill your chimney pot with a mix of soil and compost, plant a few starts, and give it a sunny corner to call home. Over the weeks, it will grow into a soft fountain of greenery that both dances and defends. And here's the best part. When you walk by, you don't even have to bend. Just brush your hand across the blades and let the scent release. It's like lighting a candle without a match. Peaceful, effortless, and kind. If you're the cooking sort, you can even snip a stalk for your kitchen. Lemongrass brings a delicious brightness to soups and teas. It's not just a mosquito repellent. It's a living spice rack too. As summer deepens and dusk arrives earlier each evening, your lemongrass will stand tall, like a gentle guardian watching over your outdoor space. And that clay chimney pot, it might have once funneled smoke, but now it cradles life, scent, and quiet defense. Some things really do get better with time, and with a little imagination, even the oddest old object can become a place where beauty takes root. There's something timeless about a wooden crate. Maybe it once held apples from the orchard, glass bottles of milk, or jars of jam lined up for a church sale. Worn and sturdy, its boards still hold the memory of usefulness, and today it can cradle something just as nourishing: basil. Most of us know basil as the scent of summer meals: fresh tomatoes, warm bread, a drizzle of olive oil. But did you know that mosquitoes dislike basil just as much as we love it? That's right. The essential oils in basil leaves release a powerful aroma that repels mosquitoes naturally. The trick is to keep it close, so the scent has a chance to work its quiet magic. A wooden crate is perfect for this. It's wide, shallow, and easy to lift. No bending, no digging. Line it with a bit of burlap or even old newspaper. Fill it with rich, moist soil, and plant several basil starts close together for a lush, fragrant display. Place it near where you spend the most time. On your porch rail, next to your outdoor table, or along the edge of a raised bed. And here's the beauty. Every time you brush the leaves or pick a handful for supper, the scent gets stronger. Nature's own defense system built right into your herb garden. Basil loves the sun and a steady drink of water. But it won't fuss if you miss a day. It forgives, and it grows back fuller with each gentle harvest. And while it's busy keeping mosquitoes away from your dinner table, it's also flavoring your meals with that fresh green taste that reminds us of summer kitchens and simpler days. If your crate is older, with a few cracks or stains, all the better. That patina tells a story, one that continues now, not with storage, but with life. Add a little twine handle, or tuck a tea towel beneath the soil for charm. You're not just gardening, you're crafting a space of care and comfort. And isn't that what this stage of life is for? Using what we have, planting what we love. and letting every inch of space remind us we are still growing. Do you remember those old woven baskets, the kind you take to the farmer's market or use to gather laundry on sunny afternoons? Sturdy, faded, and full of character. Maybe one is still sitting in your attic or tucked behind the shed. If so, it's time to bring it back into the light. Not for carrying, but for planting. Because few flowers work as hard or shine as bright as the cheerful marigold. Golden, orange, or rust red, marigolds are like little suns tucked into your garden. Their scent, though pleasant to us, is deeply unpleasant to mosquitoes. In fact, marigolds contain a natural compound called pyrethrum, which is often used in organic insect repellents. These flowers don't just look lovely. They create an invisible shield. Tuck a few marigold seedlings into that old wicker basket, filling it with potting mix and perhaps a layer of moss or burlap at the bottom to hold the soil. Because marigolds thrive in full sun and don't ask for much water, they're perfect for a shallow, portable planter. Place the basket beside your favorite patio chair, near an open window, or along the edge of a garden path. Their blooms will follow the light, and so will your eyes. It's hard not to smile when you see them dancing in the breeze. What's even more special is how long they last. From late spring through fall, marigolds bloom again and again, asking only a little deadheading now and then. And if you're someone who grows vegetables, marigolds are happy to help there too. Their scent deters not only mosquitoes, but also aphids and nematodes that like to nibble your tomatoes and greens. Sometimes the most joyful things in life are also the most practical. A flower that glows, a basket that still holds, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing your garden is not only beautiful, it's protecting you too. So when you see that old basket, don't think of it as worn out. Think of it as ready. Ready to cradle something golden, useful and alive. Just like you, dear friend, still blooming, still needed. You know those mismatched teacups we often collect over the years? Some chipped, some faded, some inherited from loved ones now long gone. Too delicate for daily use, yet far too precious to toss. What if I told you they still had purpose? Stack them gently on an old wooden shelf, perhaps from a garage sale or the back of your pantry, and fill them with something green and quietly powerful. Catnip. Yes, catnip. Not just for the neighborhood cats, though you may get a few curious visitors, but also for keeping mosquitoes far from your peaceful spaces. Science has found that catnip, especially the compound nipetolactone in its leaves, is up to 10 times more effective than DEET at repelling mosquitoes. And what's even lovelier, it looks like a soft, weaving herb with delicate blooms. When you grow it in teacups, each little pot becomes a miniature garden of memory and protection. Catnip grows fast and without fuss. It thrives in full sun and average soil. Place your teacup shelf near a sunny window, on a railing, or beside a back door. The scent will linger gently, especially when brushed or watered, and the mosquitoes will stay away. Because it can spread quickly in the ground, growing it in containers like this is actually better. It gives you full control, without any weeding or digging, and teacups, with their small size, make watering easy and lifting effortless. If you'd like to add a bit of whimsy, tuck in a little spoon, a vintage tag, or a saucer beneath each cup. Turn the entire shelf into a vertical tea garden, one that smells of summer, defends your porch, and brings back the simple joy of holding something small and beautiful in your hand. And when a neighbor comes by, you can point to your little catnip cups and smile. No, it's not just decoration, it's protection, and a bit of fun too. Because usefulness, like love, doesn't always come in large packages. Sometimes it fits right inside a teacup. Do you still have one of those old metal bread pans, the kind that once held warm loaves on a rainy afternoon, their scent filling the house with comfort? Maybe it's dented now. Maybe it hasn't seen dough in years, but don't tuck it away just yet. It still has something to offer. This time, not for baking, but for planting rosemary. that sturdy, fragrant herb that wards off mosquitoes and stirs the heart with memories of home-cooked meals and family gatherings. Rosemary is a true multitasker. Its needle-like leaves release a woody, slightly pine-like scent that mosquitoes absolutely hate. And it's not just effective when growing. Even a small bundle tossed on a fire pit or tucked near a screen door can create a gentle, natural mosquito barrier. To plant it, simply fill your bread pan with well-draining soil. Rosemary likes to stay a bit dry between waterings. Its roots don't run deep, so the shallow pan works just fine. Place it somewhere sunny. Rosemary loves warmth. Maybe on your windowsill, a porch step, or even nestled into an outdoor shelf beside your favorite reading chair. It's a slow grower, but a dependable one. Upright and tidy, rosemary doesn't sprawl or fuss. It keeps its shape, asks very little, and offers much. And when the wind stirs or your hand brushes past, it releases that unmistakable scent. Clean, strong, and quietly familiar. There's something so touching about pairing it with a bread pan. A tool once used to nourish the body now holds a plant that protects and comforts. That's the beauty of upcycling. It's not just reuse, it's respect. It's honoring what still works. And if you're someone who enjoys a little cooking, you'll find rosemary just as handy in the kitchen as it is in the garden. A sprig added to roasted potatoes or tucked beneath a lemon slice brings out flavors and memories you might have forgotten. So plant it, watch it thrive, and know that even the smallest vessel, like a loaf pan, can hold strength, scent, and a bit of quiet protection for the season ahead. Because just like us, it's still got purpose, still got plenty of life. Do you remember when little feet ran through the yard in muddy boots, chasing fireflies and giggling at the dusk? Maybe one of those old boots is still tucked away in the garage, scuffed, stained, and far too sentimental to throw out. That boot, dear friend, can bloom again. This time, filled not with memories of tiny toes, but with fresh peppermint, one of the most reliable plants for keeping mosquitoes far, far away. Peppermint, with its cool, crisp scent, doesn't just refresh the air, it confuses and deters pests, especially mosquitoes. The menthol in its leaves overwhelms their delicate senses, creating a safe bubble around your favorite resting spots. And what better way to grow it than in something personal? An old rubber boot, lined with a bit of gravel at the bottom and filled with moist, rich soil, makes a charming, upright planter. You can place it near a porch step, under a bench, or by the garden gate. Anywhere the scent can rise and swirl through the summer breeze. Peppermint loves partial shade to full sun and drinks deeply. It grows quickly and generously, sending out runners and waving with life. But it can be a bit pushy if planted in the ground, which is why the boot is perfect. Contained, stylish, and easy a move if needed. Each time you walk by, you might reach down and pinch a leaf, rubbing it gently between your fingers. That simple motion sends a burst of fragrance into the air, cooling, cleansing, and comforting. And if you feel like adding a twist to your tea or garnishing your dessert, the peppermint is always ready to share. There's something deeply moving about giving an old boot a new purpose. It once carried life, and now it grows it. It once walked paths, and now it lines them. Just like us, it may have a few cracks, a few stains, a few soft spots, but it still stands. It still gives. It still matters. And in your garden, dear friend, that's more than enough. Do you remember those wooden barrels once used for rainwater or apple cider? Heavy, round, and weathered with time, their curves stained with stories of use. If you have one leaning in a back corner, don't let it go to waste. With just a bit of soil and sunlight, it can become home to something both striking and strong. Eucalyptus. Eucalyptus isn't just beautiful, it's bold. With its round, dusty blue-green leaves and clean, almost menthol-like scent, it brings both calm and clarity to any garden. But here's the secret, that refreshing aroma, mosquitoes can't stand it. The essential oil found in eucalyptus, called eucalyptol, overwhelms a mosquito's sense of smell, making it a natural shield around your patio or entryway. Just one plant in the right place can make a noticeable difference. Choose a dwarf or container-friendly variety and plant it in your old wooden barrel, filled with well-drained soil. It thrives in full sun and enjoys good airflow. Tuck it into a bright corner, maybe where the fence meets the porch, or near the edge of a sunny path. As the leaves sway in the breeze, they release their calming scent into the air. Over time, you'll see its stems stretch upward with a quiet confidence. Eucalyptus doesn't bloom like marigolds or wave like lemongrass. It stands, elegant, reserved, a quiet sentinel of scent and strength. And if the mood strikes, you can cut a few sprigs to bring indoors. Hang them in the shower for a spa-like experience, or dry them to keep in a jar beside your bed. Even dried, eucalyptus continues to give. There's something symbolic about it, really. A plant that repels what irritates, that clears the air without shouting, and that grows more beautiful with each passing season. And that barrel, once filled with drink or water, now holds something healing. It's not just a container, it's a cradle for peace. So let your eucalyptus grow quietly in its corner. It doesn't demand attention, but it offers so much, just like you, dear friend. There's something poignant about an old birdcage. Once it held song and fluttering wings. Now it hangs empty, its door open, its purpose unclear. But don't be so quick to tuck it away. That birdcage, with all its memory and metal grace, can become something new, something blooming. Let it cradle bee balm, also known as monarda, a tall, fragrant flowering herb that both repels mosquitoes and welcomes pollinators. A perfect balance of protection and invitation. Bee balm's scent is strong and distinctive. While mosquitoes shy away from it, bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds can't resist. The flowers burst in wild pinks, reds, and purples, shaggy, playful, like fireworks frozen mid-bloom. They bring movement, color, and life to even the quietest corners of your garden. To create your little sanctuary, line the bottom of the birdcage with burlap or coconut liner. Add rich soil and tuck in a bee balm start. Choose a medium-sized cage that allows the plant room to rise and breathe. Hang it on a shepherd's hook, set it atop a stone pedestal, or simply place it on your patio table as a centerpiece that draws the eye and repels the pests. Bee balm thrives in full sun with consistent moisture, and unlike many herbs, it has a whimsical cottage feel, perfect for a garden that leans into age, imperfection, and charm. It spreads slowly, generously, as if it knows the world needs more softness. And when it blooms, oh dear friend, you'll hear the hum of wings, see the flicker of tiny birds darting in for a drink, and feel something ancient and alive stir in your chest. Because it's not just about keeping mosquitoes away. It's about creating a space where the right things are welcome. A garden isn't just for us, it's for what we share it with. And that birdcage, once closed and still, now sings again, in blossoms and bees. In fragrance and freedom, sometimes, we find new life in the places we once locked away. Remember the old muffin tins? Sturdy metal trays tucked away in a kitchen drawer, once filled with batter on Sunday mornings. Maybe yours hasn't seen flour in years. Maybe it's worn, a little bent, with baked-on memories. But even now, it can hold something fresh, something green, something with purpose. Let's fill it with thyme, the tiny herb with a mighty scent, loved by cooks and quietly loathed by mosquitoes. Thyme contains natural oils that help keep mosquitoes at bay, especially when its leaves are bruised or warmed by the sun. It doesn't shout like lemongrass or stand tall like rosemary. No, thyme is humble, low-growing, soft, and spreading. But don't let its size fool you. Its aroma is strong, clean, and gently powerful. A muffin tin makes the perfect shallow planter. Line it with a layer of moss or burlap to keep soil in place. Then fill each little cup with potting mix and slip in a sprig of creeping thyme. You can set the whole tray on a sunny porch railing, the edge of a table, or even mount it flat against a wall for a vertical herb garden that's just the right height. Thyme loves sun and dry feet, meaning it won't pout if you forget a watering or two. As it grows, it will spill softly over the edges of each cup, creating a patchwork quilt of scent and green texture. And when you pinch a bit off to flavor your roast potatoes or sprinkle into tea, you're also sending a soft wave of mosquito-repelling oil into the air. Beautiful, functional, quietly generous. There's something sweet about thyme. It doesn't rush, it doesn't demand. It simply grows, slowly, steadily, filling whatever space it's given. And maybe that's the lesson, that small things, tended gently, still bring protection, that even an old muffin tin, scarred and silvered with age, can cradle something new and fragrant. So go ahead, place it by your chair, breathe it in, and let the thyme remind you. You don't need to be big to be mighty. You don't need to be new to be useful. You just need a bit of sun, a little care, and time. Have you ever held an old metal colander in your hands and thought, this still feels strong? The kind with round holes, maybe a few dents from years of draining pasta or rinsing berries? Hanging one on a hook might seem unusual, but not when you fill it with sage. Sage is more than a cooking herb. It's an ancient plant, long valued for cleansing, clarity, and yes, keeping mosquitoes away. Its leaves are soft, silvery, and full of natural oils that release a sharp, grounding scent mosquitoes tend to avoid. To make your hanging garden, take an old colander, enamel, steel, or even vintage aluminum, and line it with coconut fiber, burlap, or an old tea towel. Fill it with well-draining potting soil, then nestle a sage plant right in the center. The colander's holes act as natural drainage, and the handles make it easy to hang from a shepherd's hook, porch beam, or even a tree limb. Place it near where you sit with your tea, or by the back door, where the breeze can carry its scent. Every time the wind stirs or a hand brushes past, sage gives a little of itself, a hint of earth, a whisper of memory, and a subtle warning to mosquitoes to stay away. Sage likes sun, just like stories and old souls. It thrives in warmth and asks for little. Once it's settled, it's drought-tolerant and rarely needs fussing, perfect for a garden that honors ease. And if you ever feel like using it, sage is a wonderful addition to roasted vegetables, stews, or even bundled and dried as a natural smudge stick for your space. It holds a kind of quiet power, not loud, but lasting. That colander, once full of rinsed tomatoes or morning fruit, now overflows with something more enduring: scent, wisdom, and protection. Because even in its second life, it drains. But now, instead of water, it drains worry. And sage, with its wrinkled leaves and subtle strength, reminds us that aging isn't fading, it's flavoring. It's becoming richer, deeper, more essential. There's something tender about a small clay cup, the kind you once held with two hands, sipping warm tea by the window while rain tapped the roof. Maybe it's chipped now, stained with time, but it still holds the shape of comfort. And in that familiar shape, something new can grow, something both fragrant and protective. Lemon balm. Lemon balm is part of the mint family, but gentler, softer in scent, slower in spirit. Its leaves release a clean, lemony aroma that lifts the mood and gently sends mosquitoes away. Not harsh, not overwhelming, just a scent they'd rather avoid. And we, dear friend, we'd rather keep. To plant it, choose a cup with a drainage hole, or line the bottom with small pebbles. Add potting soil, press in the little roots, and pat it softly. Set your lemon balm where it can catch the morning sun: a porch step, a windowsill, a little table near your favorite chair. It doesn't ask for much, just warmth, water, and a bit of your presence. Lemon balm grows in soft mounds, full and lush, like little green pillows. It doesn't sprawl too far, making it perfect for small containers or cozy spaces. And when you rub its leaves between your fingers, the scent comes to life. Bright, calming, familiar. You can brew it into tea, tuck it into a bouquet, or simply breathe it in. It's said to ease worry, settle the mind, and invite restful sleep. A quiet blessing for a tired soul. And as for mosquitoes, they'll keep their distance, drifting toward louder scents, leaving your peaceful corner untouched. What's most beautiful is the pairing, a plant that soothes, nestled in a vessel that once did the same. The cup once held warmth for your hands. Now it holds life for your heart. Because in our gardens, as in our lives, the smallest things, a forgotten teacup, a fragrant herb, can become gentle shields, and in doing so, they remind us. We are not fragile because we are old. We are cherished because we are full. Do you still remember those porcelain wash bowls? The ones that once sat on a wooden dresser with a matching pitcher nearby? Before indoor plumbing, before button faucets, there was water carried in and care poured out. Today, that bowl might be chipped at the edges or faintly cracked with age, but it still has the shape of service and the perfect place for something old-fashioned and quietly powerful: pennyroyal. Pennyroyal is a lesser-known herb, part of the mint family, with a strong, almost spicy scent that mosquitoes truly dislike. It's been used for centuries as a natural repellent, woven into wreaths, scattered near doorways, or rubbed onto sleeves. It's not a culinary herb, it's a garden guardian, small in stature but bold in fragrance. To bring it to life, fill your antique wash bowl with rich soil, slightly moistened, and nestle the pennyroyal in the center. You might add small stones or bits of broken terracotta at the bottom for drainage, the way our grandparents used to do without calling it anything fancy. Pennyroyal prefers full sun to light shade and likes to stay a little damp, especially in the heat of summer. It grows low and wide, like a soft green mat, and sends its scent outward without much coaxing. You can place your bowl on a plant stand, a garden table, or even an old wooden stool outside your back door. And here's a quiet joy. When you sit nearby, the scent will reach you before you notice the breeze. A sharp, clean breath that keeps biting insects at bay. The bowl, once filled with water to clean a face or freshen hands, now cradles a plant that protects without a sound. It's a small altar to function and beauty, rooted in tradition and reborn in the present. That's the soul of upcycling, dear friend. Not just reuse, but reverence. A chance to take something that once served and let it serve again. And pennyroyal, though humble and small, reminds us, sometimes strength doesn't bloom in height or color. It creeps gently, holds its ground, and quietly keeps us safe. There's something about a border, where your garden ends and the world beyond begins. Fences, low stone walls, or even rows of bushes. They mark the edge, quietly saying, this space is tended, this space is loved. Along that line, you can plant something unexpected and quietly magnificent. Allium. Alliums are part of the onion family, but they're not your average kitchen bulb. These plants grow tall, their stalks slender and straight, crowned with perfect, round blooms that look like purple fireworks frozen mid-burst. There's whimsy in them, elegance too. But what you may not know is that their mild, oniony scent helps keep mosquitoes and even garden pests away. You won't notice the smell unless you lean in close, but insects will. The natural compounds in the leaves and bulbs are unappealing to mosquitoes, making them a lovely way to line a path, edge a raised bed, or, as I prefer, stretch along a sun-warmed fence. Plant allium bulbs in early spring, or if your climate allows, in fall for the following year. Tuck them into recycled planters, old gutter troughs, broken drawers, even vintage metal mailboxes. Anything long and shallow works beautifully. Once planted, they'll rise in early summer, standing tall with dignity and grace. They don't need much attention once settled. They enjoy the sun, prefer well-drained soil, and appreciate a little space to breathe. Their blooms last for weeks. And even once the color fades, their spherical seed heads add structure and a sculptural charm to your garden. And there's something poetic about their shape, how they stand in quiet clusters, as if gathered in soft conversation, watching over your space. They don't chase pests away with noise or motion. They do it with scent, with stillness, with quiet presence. The kind of protection that doesn't boast, it simply is. And as the breeze moves through the fence line, shaking those round purple heads like rattles of light, you may feel it too. The comfort of knowing your garden is looked after, in beauty and in strength. Because even the border of your space deserves to bloom. Even the edges can hold elegance. Once this drawer held socks or sewing notions, or perhaps love letters tucked beneath handkerchiefs. Pulled from an old wooden dresser, its handles worn and corners softened, it now sits still and empty. But oh, what a beautiful home it makes for something bright and brave. A pot of geraniums. Geraniums are garden classics, with full, ruffled blooms in reds, pinks, and whites, and a sharp, lemony scent that mosquitoes simply cannot stand. Their oils, especially from scented leaf varieties, are natural mosquito repellents. And best of all, they thrive in containers, especially when those containers carry stories of their own. To give that drawer new life, line it with heavy plastic or a thrifted baking tray. Poke a few drainage holes if needed. Then fill it with potting soil. Nestle in a few geraniums, maybe one for each corner, or a row down the center. Place your blooming drawer on the porch step, the railing, or an outdoor table near your favorite chair. Geraniums love the sun and bloom from spring until fall with very little fuss. Their upright habit makes them perfect for small spaces, and when the wind brushes past, their scent drifts easily, unnoticed by people, but very noticeable to bugs. And what charm they bring! A porch drawer filled with color. A burst of blooms rising where once there were folded shirts or bits of lace. They add a bit of whimsy, a splash of joy. And quietly, they protect the space you rest in. Even better, geraniums are friendly to hands that have seen many seasons. Their stems are sturdy, their care is simple, and when they're happy, they bloom and bloom again. And the drawer? It might wobble a little, its paint might peel, but it knows how to hold what matters. That's the beauty of this stage of life, dear friend. We don't need to be perfect, just willing to hold beauty, to offer something sweet, and to keep the bugs at bay while doing it. So next time you pass a roadside dresser or peek into the garage, look again. A drawer might just be the next garden bed waiting to bloom. If you've ever lined jars in a row, wiped rims clean, or listened for the satisfying pop of a sealed lid, you'll know the comfort of a good canning pot. Heavy-bottomed, black with white speckles, it's a symbol of care passed down. And when its days of boiling jars are done, that pot still has one more season of usefulness, as a vessel for growing garlic. Garlic isn't often thought of as a mosquito repellent, but it's remarkably effective. The sulfur compounds in its leaves and bulbs repel mosquitoes and many soft-bodied garden pests. You don't even need to use it, just growing it nearby sends out an invisible signal. This space is not for biting. To plant garlic, fill your canning pot with well-drained soil, then gently press in a few garlic cloves, pointy side up, a couple inches deep. Weave space between each clove to allow them to form healthy bulbs over time. Set the pot in full sun, on your patio, porch, or tucked beside a bench where the warmth gathers in late afternoon. Garlic grows slowly, in tall green shoots that look a bit like chives or leeks. It doesn't demand much, just sunlight, a drink now and then, and your patience. And while the protection it offers is subtle, it's persistent. You can even snip the garlic greens once in a while to use in cooking. A soft flavor that whispers of onions and the earth. And if you harvest the bulbs in late summer, you can cure them and start again. A circle of growth, a cycle of care. The canning pot once used to preserve summer sweetness now grows something that protects it. It's poetic, really, that a vessel once meant to hold goodness can now grow it instead. And garlic, dear friend, teaches us this. Strength doesn't have to be loud or lovely. Sometimes it's quiet, deep, and buried, but always ready to rise when the time is right. Let it sit by your door. Let it send its scent through the stems. Let it do its quiet work. And remember, your past tools still have purpose, and so do you. Once upon a time, this kettle sat on a stove. bubbling water for tea, steaming quietly in the early morning hush. Perhaps it's dented now, its handle worn, the lid long gone, but that old kettle still knows how to hold warmth. And now, it holds something living, a cascade of nasturtiums, glowing with color and quietly repelling mosquitoes. Nasturtiums are joyful flowers. Their round leaves look like lily pads, and their blooms come in rich yellows, oranges, and fiery reds. Though their cheerful appearance may seem purely decorative, they serve a surprising purpose. Their strong, peppery scent helps deter mosquitoes and even garden pests like aphids. To bring your hanging kettle to life, fill it with light potting soil, then tuck in a few nasturtium seeds or young plants. They grow quickly and thrive in hanging containers, spilling over the edges like a garden waterfall. You can suspend the kettle from a shepherd's hook, a porch beam, or even an old wall bracket. As the vines trail downward, their blooms bob and sway in the breeze, catching light, catching smiles, and sending out their natural shield. Nasturtiums love the sun and require little care once established. They actually prefer poor soil and infrequent watering, making them perfect for older hands that need rest between tasks. And if you're feeling curious, know this: every part of the nasturtium is edible. The leaves, flowers. Even the seed pods carry a peppery zing, lovely in salads or as a colorful garnish for summer soups. There's something delightful about repurposing an old kettle like this. Once used to pour warmth into cups, now it pours color into the garden. It dangles not just as a planter, but as a memory, a symbol of what lasts when we care for it. And nasturtiums, for all their exuberance, teach a sweet lesson too. You don't need to stand tall to be seen. Sometimes, the most beautiful things spill over, softly, brightly, and with purpose. So hang your kettle with pride, let the flowers fall like a ribbon of joy, and know this: even the smallest thing, when planted with love, can help protect and enchant the space you call home. Think back to that ceramic soup tureen, heavy with painted flowers or a delicate rim, perhaps given as a wedding gift or passed down from your mother's kitchen. It once held stews on chilly days or rested on the holiday table, full of warmth and gathering. And now, with just a little soil and a sprig of green, it holds something new: a living bay laurel. Bay laurel, the same plant that gives us the bay leaves, used in hearty soups and slow-simmered sauces, is not only delicious, it's also a natural insect repellent. Its deep green, leathery leaves release a strong, woodsy fragrance that mosquitoes find overwhelming and unpleasant. This elegant herb grows slowly but steadily. Tuck a young laurel tree or cutting into your soup tureen, using well-draining soil and adding pebbles at the bottom for extra drainage. Place it in a sunny spot, on your porch steps, patio table, or beside your front door, where the scent can catch the air. Bay laurel can be pruned to keep a tidy shape, making it perfect for container gardening. And because it grows vertically, it doesn't demand much space. A single sprig, brushed gently with the fingertips, sends out its rich aroma, calming to us, repelling to pests. When you harvest a few leaves, whether fresh or dried, you're not only flavoring your dinner, you're continuing a tradition. One leaf in a soup pot, a reminder of home. One leaf in a drawer, a hint of protection. Quiet acts of care carried forward. And the tureen, no longer buried in a cabinet or hiding behind dishes. It becomes a garden centerpiece, filled not with broth, but with life, sturdy, evergreen, and gently guarding your space. There's something noble about bay laurel. It was once woven into crowns for poets and heroes. And now, here it grows for you, reminding you that grace doesn't fade with age. It deepens, it roots. So let your old soup bowl sit out in the light, no longer waiting to be needed, because it already is. And in that pairing, old vessel, living plant, your garden gains not just beauty, but legacy. There's a hush in the late afternoon, that tender hour when the light softens and everything slows down. It's the perfect time for a cup of tea, a quiet breath, and and a glance toward the window. And in that space, blooming just beyond the glass, you might find chamomile, nestled in a simple basket, spilling over with quiet purpose. Chamomile is a gentle herb, known best for its calming tea and soft, white-petaled flowers. But beyond its soothing effects on the soul, chamomile also repels mosquitoes. Its delicate scent, sweet and apple-like, keeps those little pests from settling near your windows or porch. To bring chamomile into your space, choose a hanging or mounted window basket, maybe something thrifted or woven from rattan, perhaps even an old mailbox given new purpose. Line it with coconut fiber or burlap, fill it with light soil, and sow chamomile seeds or starts close together. It'll grow into a lacy bed of green stems topped with cheery white and yellow blooms. Place the basket on your windowsill, attach it to a railing, or nestle it outside your kitchen window, somewhere the breeze can lift the scent and carry it through your home. The flowers will nod gently in the air, like little heads bowed in prayer, and their beauty will greet you every time you glance out. Chamomile doesn't ask for much. Full sun, light water, and a bit of patience. It reseeds easily, often coming back year after year like an old friend who never needs to call ahead. You can harvest the blossoms, dry them, and steep them in hot water for restful sleep, or just enjoy them where they are, symbols of peace and persistence, symbols that say, this is a home that is cared for, a home where small things matter. And the window basket, once empty, now overflows with scent, purpose, and calm. Chamomile reminds us that protection doesn't have to come in force. It can come in softness, in petals, in peace. So let it bloom near the place where you look out at the world. Let it guard the threshold with grace. Because in the quiet corners of our gardens and of our lives, gentle things still stand watch, and we are better for them. And here we are, at the end of our quiet stroll through pots, petals, and old forgotten things made new again. You've seen how a rusty tin tub can hold citronella like a sentinel, and how a chipped teacup can cradle catnip like a secret. You've witnessed how a bread pan can rise again, not with dough, but with rosemary, and how an old kettle, once whistling in the kitchen, now pours light and color from the porch. Each plant, basil, lavender, eucalyptus, bee balm, offered more than protection. They gave you their scent, their calm, their quiet work. No sprays, no harshness, just natural kindness in green and bloom. And the vessels, oh dear friend, weren't they just like us? A little worn perhaps, a little dented, stained with the years, but still sturdy, still able, still ready to hold life. That's the secret the garden whispers to us, again and again. You don't need youth to create beauty. You don't need money to make peace. You don't need perfection to protect what matters. You just need a bit of earth, a bit of light, and the willingness to care. Because your hands, yes, yours, still create comfort, still shake joy, still grow things worth tending. So as the day quiets, and the shadows stretch long across your porch, take a look around your little space. Maybe it's a balcony, maybe a garden path, maybe just a single windowsill. Wherever it is, it can become a shield, not just against mosquitoes, but against the noise of a world that rushes past. Let each pot you plant, each flower you water, be a blessing to yourself. A soft reminder that this chapter of life is not the end of growing, it's the flowering. So tell me, dear friend, which idea brought you joy today? Was it the peppermint in the old boot, or the thyme in the muffin tin? The bee balm blooming inside a birdcage, or the marigolds dancing in a wicker basket? I'd love to know. Share it in the comments below. And if you'd like more gentle ideas for your garden and home, don't forget to subscribe for the next quiet visit. Until then, may your porch be peaceful, your plants be fragrant, and your days be sweetly bug-free. Happy gardening, dear friend.